Hello everyone, this is Starry Ari's ASMR. I am Ari, and today I am set up once again to do a new meal calendar. So as you can see, I have my December meal calendar here, and we have now moved into the new year. We are now into 2026, and I am actually filming this on the 3rd, and I don't think it's going to go out until Monday. Like, Monday is my next posting day. But I am excited to move into the new year. I feel like I had a pretty decent 2025, a pretty busy 2025, but if you would be interested in kind of hearing some of my goals and resolutions and reflections over the last year and going into the new year, I did post a camera brushing video while I kind of rambled about that. So if that's something that'd be interesting for you, I'll go ahead and link that. But these meal calendar videos, I have done quite a few at this point, over a year's worth, and I have a playlist. So if you like this, you can also check those out. But as you can see, for December, we were gone for a good portion of it. And we didn't really need to plan meals for those days. We were staying with family, we were hanging out with friends, we had lots of holiday parties and lots of travel-y things going on. So it will be kind of good to get back into it with a full month of actually planning and having some good home-cooked meals. We ate out a lot because, we wanted to treat friends and family, or they wanted to treat us. So it will be nice to kind of get back to just cooking at home for a little bit. So if you have not seen one of my videos doing the meal calendar before, I'm just going to give kind of a brief little rundown. So this is something that my husband and I have done for a few years, and it just really helps keep us on track. It helps us be able to kind of have a better plan for the month, and it's just so nice not to have to think about it every single day what we're going to do for dinner, because we already planned out our month. So I have already kind of sat down with him. We always brainstorm what meals we're craving, what sounds really good in the new month, and then I will just kind of fill out those meals as I see fit for the new month. And over here is our little note section. This is just where we write grocery things that we need to pick up the next time we go to the store, so that we don't forget that we're out of those. And we usually will do a meal one day and then a leftover day. So FFY stands for fend for yourself. And so we can just have leftovers, make a sandwich, do whatever, but we're not cooking on that day. We're scheduling that we're not going to need to cook because we will have leftovers from a meal. And that's just so nice. We're a big leftovers family, and I'm grateful that we both like leftovers. And it is just my husband and myself in our household, so we can always kind of, it's easier for us to make sure that we cook enough so that we have leftovers. Most recipes have enough for a 4 to 6 person family, so that gives us plenty to have for lunches or dinners for the days after. So I think that's pretty much everything. I have some cookbooks over here that I might dip into. I have my little recipe box up here on the side. I don't think I'm going to need to pull anything out of there and show you, but I just like to kind of have them available while I'm writing things out, just in case. I like to write down the page number for whatever recipe I grab out of a book, even though we do have these convenient tabs. And I think that's pretty much everything. So the first thing I'm going to do is wipe off the December calendar so that I can fill in the January dates. And you can see we did some cute little snowflakes. My husband did these snowflakes. I can't draw. I think that's the only snowflake that I would have been able to draw. Which is funny. I did add the little blue dots though for snow, so I added my creative flair in a much simpler way. So I like to just take a blank paper towel because it's a little bit faster, a little bit easier. So here's my paper towel. I'm just going to fold it a little bit. And then now I'm going to go ahead and wipe all of this clean, which is always so satisfying. And I'm making sure I'm trying to get all of those little snowy dots that I did. I'm going to move this little magnet so that I can get underneath it over here. Just like that. And then I'm going to leave our little notes because we have not picked up our gallons of blocks or Clorox wipes. And I don't want to forget that we need to pick some more of those up. So I'm going to now go ahead and erase the rest of the month. And it's kind of special today doing this because it's not only a new month, but it is the first meal calendar of the new year, which is exciting. And one of my reflections on this year and like going into this year, things that I thought that I did well over the last year was this. This was a habit that we built a few years ago now. And now it's just kind of ingrained in our household. It's just something we do. And it isn't really, like something that we think about too much because it makes our life so much easier and simpler on the day-to-day. We know exactly what we need to get for groceries, so we're never at the store thinking about what we want to do for dinner. We already have our grocery list planned out for each week, at least for, the meals that we have. So that is just so nice. And of course, moving into the new year, I would like to continue to do this. But like I said, it's not really an effort anymore. It's like something that we always do. So it's really like a good habit that we built and now is just kind of in our life and a part of our life. Okay, I'm going to take a clean side and just go over it again. Just try and get any little remaining bits. So this is nice and clean. So now we can go ahead and fill out January. So I'm going to use this marker to write with, but this marker has the little eraser in case I have any mistakes. But that marker is quite old and has been dried out for a long time now. So the first thing I need to do is write out January here. January, and you might not be able to see the top of that. There we go. And the heater did just click on. It is way too cold for me to turn off the heater to film this. My hands would be like blue icicles at the end of the video. So I hope it's not too distracting. So we've got January. I don't know what little things. I guess we could do like cute little snowmen or something up here, but I always kind of leave that up to my husband unless I have a really good idea. And then even though I'm filming this on Saturday, like I could technically start on the next week, but I like to have the full month, even though we're already done with Thursday and Friday. I'm just going to fill in the numbers just at the top left. Just these small little numbers like that. then go through the month. Just filling out everything else. It is so nice to have like a blank whiteboard to start with. It's very satisfying going through, filling out all of the new dates and thinking about the month ahead. And then January does have 31 days, so we very conveniently end on the Saturday here. Alright, so we've got all of that filled in, and then I am next going to fill in any days that we have like plans, days that we're going to be gone. I know that we are planning a trip. It's kind of late to be planning it, but we're planning a trip for this weekend. It's just like a car trip, so it's nothing too big. So I'm gonna write just gone, and then I'm gonna draw a little line, and then I'm gonna end it on this Monday. So this is the holiday weekend, so we have Monday off, but we're coming home Monday, so I do want to have us plan a meal here. So I think that is kind of it. I can't recall any other days that we're not going to be home. I'm sure that something will come up, but we just kind of move things around if that happens. Our meal calendar never looks the same at the end of the month as it did at the beginning of the month. So now I'm going to fill in all of the meals that we want to have this month, and I'm going to start with what we already did. So we had a fend for yourself on Thursday. We actually technically ordered some food, but I just want to do a fend for yourself because we came home on Thursday from our winter break trip or vacation, and we did not want to cook anything. So we did fend for yourself, and then we did BLTs, and I will cross those out later. I'm not going to cross them out right now. I like the days. And then Saturday, today, we're doing fend for yourself with the leftover bacon. And then tomorrow, we're going to do baked potatoes because we saved some bacon. And we always like to sprinkle like some bacon bits on our baked potatoes, and we had to get potatoes for a meal that we're doing later in the week. And here we are, I think, gonna have some leftover baked potatoes. We might not have leftover bacon, but sometimes we just kind of make do. Sometimes we have like grilled up or fried up some chicken or something to throw that on there, but I'm gonna do a fend for yourself on the 5th. And then we really want to do sausage and kale soup. And that is one of our recipes in this book. Let me try and find it for you. It's one of these purple tabs down here. And it is this Italian sausage and kale soup. And this one is such a warming, hearty soup. It just tastes so good. And I love soup any time of the year. Even during the summer, I will have soup. So I really want to do this one. This is page 174. So I'm just going to write sausage and kale soup. And then, what did I say? Page 174. Okay. And I'm excited for that. We got some sourdough bread for our BLTs, and we have leftover sourdough. We love sourdough bread. I think sourdough is like one of our favorite breads. And so I think we were going to make some like sourdough garlic bread with some of that leftover bread. So I'm very excited about that. And then on the 7th here, I'm going to do a fend for yourself because we will certainly have leftovers from this soup. And then on the 8th, we would like to do a chicken curry. And this is the meal that we made the potatoes for. Potatoes, like, are gonna last. They'll be fine for, at the end of this week. Like, they'll be okay. But we really love chicken curry. We do cheat. We just get a grocery store pre-made, like, curry, like, sauce packet. It's like the golden curry. We like to do the Japanese curry. And it's just so simple, so easy. We could probably make our own like curry, sauce, but we just do the grocery store stuff. And then on the night, we will have leftovers from that chicken curry, so I'm going to do a fend for yourself. And on the 10th, we did have something planned on the 10th. I think that there was like a community fundraiser event that we were going to maybe go to. So I'm going to do a fend for yourself day here. Just in case. I'm pretty sure that's the 10th. And if it's not, we have like frozen chicken and stuff in the freezer that we can just whip up a quick, easy meal with like chicken and rice and veggies. So I'm going to do a fend for yourself on the 10th. And then on the 11th, we would like to do our Instant Pot rigatoni, and that is also in this book. I think I mostly was picking out of this book this month. Let's try and find it. Here it is. It's the rigatoni with sausage and peas. This is one of those meals that we probably do at least every other month. We just really like it. It's so simple in the Instapot, and it's really delicious. I love also feta cheese. And my husband's lactose intolerant, and this is one of those quite easy meals that we can make dairy free, because even though it does call for heavy whipping cream, we found a like plant-based like cream alternative that honestly still tastes pretty good. And like even as somebody that does regularly eat dairy, I think that it tastes pretty good. So this is like a really nice meal for that. So I'm going to do this one. This one is on page 98. I'm going to do rigatoni with sausage and peas. And then that one was page 98, I think. Honestly, with this book, the page number isn't as important because I have these labeled, whereas this book, I don't have them labeled. So, like, it's a little bit nicer to have the page number for this one. I just still write it anyways. So we'll do that on that Sunday. And then the next day, we are going to do a fend for yourself. We'll certainly have lots of leftovers. This one gives us so many leftovers. We could probably half the recipe and still have enough leftovers for the next day. So usually what I'll do is like eat this, like we'll have it for dinner here, but I'll probably have it for like lunch and dinner and then lunch here because I love it so much. So we'll do that, the fend for yourself on the 12th. And then the 13th, I'm thinking I would like to do the air fryer chicken and veggies that we have. It's pretty simple and easy. Air fryer chicken and veggies. Especially because we started getting the frozen like bell peppers and onion mix that we use in this. And then we also do like potatoes and chicken. And then I'm trying to think if there were any other. I think that was kind of it that we do in that. And then lots of good spices. And it's just so simple. I think it would be better if it was like fresh onion and bell pepper, which is what we used to do. But having the frozen bag is just like so convenient to not have to prep it on a weeknight. So let's do that on the 13th. We are going to have some leftovers here. And then for this weekend, since we are planning to be gone, I want to do something pretty simple here that we're not really going to have tons of leftovers from, or really any leftovers. And one of our good meals for that is tilapia and veggies, because we can make enough tilapia fillets just for what we need that night. And then usually we'll just like do some like fried veggies, or we have done like, pan baked like Brussels sprouts or asparagus or something. We kind of figure out like what we're feeling that week. But I'm going to do that on the 15th because we're not going to have leftovers. And then we are planning on being gone that weekend, so we don't have leftovers just like sitting in the fridge going to waste. And then here on the 19th, so this is the day that we would be coming back, I think that we would want something pretty simple. So I'm going to do our balsamic chicken wraps, because it is just grilling up some chicken and cooking up some rice, and then we get like pre-sliced like sun-dried tomatoes, roasted red bell peppers, and put that all in a tortilla wrap with some balsamic vinegar. And it's so simple and really, really tasty, and it's really easy to do. So I think that would be okay enough for us to try and, do that on a travel day. So we're going to do that, and then sometimes we have leftovers from that. I think I'm going to plan as if we do have leftovers, but it usually depends on like if my husband, has seconds or is like wanting to take some stuff to work the next day from that. So we'll do a fend for yourself just in case. And then on the 21st here, we really would like to do chili and cornbread. It is one of our favorite meals, and we do our chili in the Instant Pot. It's not in these recipe books. We had found a recipe online. I think that one of these does have a chili recipe, but the one we found online we really like. So we're going to do chili and cornbread here on the 21st. And then that gives us lots of leftovers. I'm going to do fend for yourself here. This is another one of those that we can probably like have and be perfectly fine and still get some leftovers. But I'm going to do fend for yourself on the 22nd. And then here on the 23rd, I think I would like to do some tortellini Alfredo. And this was actually one thing that my husband really wanted us to do this month because he loves Alfredo, but him being lactose intolerant, like if he knows there's dairy in it, that's okay. Like there are like, tablets that he can take, but we have not really tried to do a dairy-free Alfredo. I don't know exactly how we would do that with the Parmesan cheese, but we're gonna see if we can do like a low dairy version. And if it just needs to have the Parmesan cheese, it just needs to have the cheese, But we're gonna try that and see if we can find a good recipe for that this month. And I'm gonna assume that that'll give us some leftovers. All of our pastas usually give us a decent amount of leftovers. Tortellini is a little bit different because we do just get the store-bought tortellini, but I think that we'll probably have enough leftovers for the 24th. And now we're on to this last week of the month. And I think that I would like to do latkes. And so my husband, every year for Hanukkah, so his family celebrated Hanukkah and Christmas growing up a little bit, and then I only celebrated Christmas, but every year for Hanukkah his mom sends like like a little like Hanukkah gift box. She always sends us this like really yummy latke mix, like it's a pre-made mix, and so you just kind of have to like, whip it up. And we usually do that every year. And I don't really remember, like I think that you can do like a brisket or like roasted chicken or something. So I'm gonna leave that up to him that week when we're planning groceries, like what kind of meat he would like to have with the latkes. But I'm gonna mark that down on the 25th. And then on the 26th, I think that we'll probably have some leftovers from whatever meat we do. So I'm gonna do a fend for yourself on the 26th. And then I do want to do a meal here on this Tuesday. I think that I would like to do our pasta vinaigrette. And this is kind of I imagine there's probably an actual name for this meal somewhere, but my family always called it pasta vinaigrette growing up. I don't know if that's like an official name for it, but it is rainbow rotini pasta and then a slew of veggies. So we do radishes, celery, carrots, onions. My husband and I do onions now. We didn't growing up because my mom is allergic to onions, but we add onions and bell peppers, and I think there's like, I don't remember if I said radishes, but we do a lot of veggies. And then we do like smoked Polish sausage and just like saute all of that up. And then we serve it with the zesty Italian dressing. And so we call it pasta vinaigrette. I don't know what that would be called regularly, but it is one of my favorite meals. It is so much prep though, because it is, like I said, a lot of veggies, but it's so good, and it's just like so comforting. It's one of those meals that we would have growing up, and we would all work on it together in the kitchen. Our household was not a like kids don't have to cook household. Like we all cooked, it was a family of 6, so we all helped out in the kitchen. We all helped do prep and chop the veggies, and I'm very grateful that that was something that we all left the house like knowing how to do, especially because I have 3 brothers and they all can like cook, and my younger brother is actually a really good cook. So this is something that's like nostalgic for me, and we do it pretty frequently. So I really like it. I would like to have that this month. So I'm going to do that on the 27th, and then we will certainly have leftovers from that. We make enough for like the amounts that, my family used to make basically. Although probably less because we only do 1 box of pasta, whereas my family used to do 2 boxes of pasta. But we get a lot of leftovers because I think we do a similar amount of veggies. So I think that like, the pasta to veggie ratio I think is a little bit different than what I grew up with, but I really love all of the veggies, so I'm happy with that. So we'll do that for the 28th. We're going to do the fend for yourself with those leftovers. And then here on the 29th, I haven't done a shrimp meal. I really wanted to do a shrimp meal this month because I love shrimp, and I don't recall if we did one at the beginning of December. So I think it's been since November. And we have an Italian shrimp and pasta meal in this book here. And it is with orzo, and I really like orzo. And it says orzo is rice-shaped pasta. And this one is really tasty, really like tomatoey, which is quite good. I'm not a fan of raw tomatoes, but I really like cooked tomatoes and like tomato sauces and stuff. I don't know why, but it's very tasty, and the shrimp are so good in this. So I'm going to have this at the end of the month, and this is page 75, and I'm just going to write shrimp pasta, page 75. Let's do shrimp these last 2 days, we will have some leftovers from that. And then on the 31st, I'm thinking, because these are two kind of like bigger meals, and I'm not sure exactly how many leftovers we're going to have from these and these, I think I'm just going to plan another Fun for Yourself day on this 31st. Because we could potentially have enough leftovers from pasta vinaigrette to push the shrimp pasta to the next day. And I don't want us to like have to plan more meals and get additional groceries that we end up actually not really needing until like the next week. So I think that kind of sounds good to me. And that is the full month all planned out. So I'm just going to take one more look at it and just see if everything kind of makes sense to me. And yeah, so this was the day I'm pretty sure we have something going on. And then we are going to be gone for a little trip that weekend. And then I think the only other thing that jumps out at me is this, but I already kind of explained my thinking on that. So I think that this looks pretty good. So another good month of warm, hearty meals. It is very, very cold where we are at, so I think these meals will be very welcome in my household. I hope that you enjoyed this new meal calendar video. Like I said at the beginning, I have lots of these videos, so if you enjoyed it, you can go ahead and check out my playlist for these. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a wonderful